Let's do it.
Welcome back, everyone. Dylan and I are back. This is episode, oh boy, 15, 16, something like that. Probably should know that, but that's okay. We haven't been here in a while. We got a lot to recap. We're gonna save the draft for another episode. Now we're gonna talk NBA playoffs, obviously in the thick of the playoffs. Both our teams suffered very frustrating losses to keep it PG here last night. So we'll be talking about that, recap some of the first round, get into some second round talk, all that good stuff. So I guess I know you certainly want to talk about your team. I know I want to talk about my team last night. So I guess we'll kind of go out of order here, talk about our team's games last night. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Sure. I'll take the honors here. So I actually think that we played very well the entire game. I think I saw Lou Dort was struggling from three. He then started turning it up a little bit as the game continued to go on. Shea was looking great, and all this foul merchant bullshit can get extinguished because I think he played a great game without hitting every single thing from the foul line. He has his own bag, people. Like he's the MVP for a reason, so I don't want to hear all this casual bullshit about like SGA being a free throw merchant and all that. I think he played really good. I think J-Dub played decent. Um, I like the way we played that entire game, right? And of course, the only problem I have was in the last probably 4 minutes of that game. The Denver Nuggets call all the way up when they were down, and right when the late game situation happened, when so we were up 117 to like 114 at a certain point. Okay, I think there was like 17 something seconds left. Okay. Um, they passed the ball in, okay? And in the backcourt, I understand fouling. And that's a hot take because a lot of people don't understand why they fouled. Um, I understand fouling. I disagree with it, but now this whole entire, coach thing is all analytical and data and all that crap. But I think if you're going to foul, why are you fouling in the backcourt? I would foul, make them take three dribbles up above half court, and then foul. Right when they get past half court, I wouldn't even let them get close to anywhere that's near like 30 feet of the basket. I think that the second they get past half court, foul them. At least takes, I would say, 4 or 5 seconds off the clock. I saw the second that the Nuggets passed it in, they fouled right off the inbound. I completely disagreed with that. I think there was 15.9 seconds left when that happened. I understand the decision to foul. Okay. I disagree with it, but I understand where it's coming from. Uh, Mark did an awful job with that in that coaching aspect. I was so baffled. I understood why, but you have to let them take the ball up a little bit more. You saw that even in the Celtics games, they weren't giving guys free throw or three free throws when they were going for threes and in motion to go for threes or any little call like that. But for our game, I think that if you want to play that game, you take more time off the clock, so there's less chances of free throws not going in. And that's exactly why we lost the game. We lost the game because, I mean, Chet, who was perfect all night, I think he was 3 for 3, missed two huge free throws at the end of the game, and everybody blames Chet. Everybody blames Chet. Everybody blames really just Chet. I mean, I've seen a lot of hate for Chet, and I'm like, I don't understand why it's all on Chet. I understand he missed the two free throws, but um, I think when we go back to that late game situation when we were up by 3 points, I think the best thing for us to do, listen, I talked about it with one of my buddies who I worked with the Iron Pigs with, where I was, and I think the best thing to do in that situation is definitely let them bring the ball up, let them get one shot. If there's a three, contest it. Don't let them, get an opportunity for any, don't call, no fouls or anything. If they make the shot, that stinks. It's a bummer. But now you have one shot, you get the last possession, and you have a timeout to draw up something that you would like to do. Okay. And that's why I liked letting them hoist up a prayer. And if they make it, they make it. It's a good shot, right? If they make it, they make it. It's a good shot. You're at home. The intensity of the crowd blaring, So there's no reason why we shouldn't have not let them take a three there. I think it was a joke. I think it's really bad coaching, and I hated that because last year everybody was talking about the experience of the Thunder in the playoffs. I was all about understanding that last year. We were still a young team, still developing, but now we have some firepower. I mean, Hartenstein played amazing yesterday. He just had a couple fouls and little foul trouble areas where it kind of took him out of the game. But that our entire team played very well yesterday. It was just the late game management by the coach, and that is just so frustrating because you play, a team that's supposed to. I mean, I had the Thunder winning in five against the Clippers or six or something like that. I mean, now I think it's still about six. But the late game situation management and that was just it was putrid. It was awful. And I think coach should really take this game up on him and say, that falls on me. Um I that's how I feel about it. 121, 119, right? I think it was. I think it was Aaron Gordon, of course, Aaron Gordon, everybody's comparing it to the D Rose thing. What a joke. I mean, the thing is, it's a fast break bucket on the road with a wide open three pointer, and they were down by one, so that's a pretty risky shot. I mean, he's lucky it went in, and that's Aaron Gordon. That's not really Aaron Gordon's shot. So, I mean, he hoisted it up, it went in. That's how we lost game one. And then we played pretty decent the entire time. I wish we didn't let that late rally come in the third quarter or fourth quarter, and we played to our strengths the entire way, but. Yeah, late game management. I think that's a deal breaker there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for the most part, the game kind of went similar to how everyone expected. OKC kind of was ahead, but by a manageable margin where they're not like blowing them out, but they're consistently ahead, like a couple possessions, kind of the whole game. Denver late made a bit of a run. I think the Thunder were up 14, kind of late in the game, the fourth quarter. Then Denver like slashed it in half. Then with like just a few minutes left, the Thunder kind of got the lead up again. I think they were up 11 with like 3.5 minutes or something like that. And Denver came back. They made it a 1 point game. And I'm like, they are going to steal this game, I think. Jokic made a three. I'm like, I feel Jokic, per usual, insane game. Uh, and then eventually, fast forward, it gets down to what you were just talking about. They intentionally fouled. Now, when like you said, I understand why teams do it. It's an age-old debate. Do you foul in that situation? It's been a debate forever. You're up three, but my problem, like you said, they should have let more time go off the clock. Like you mentioned, one inbound, like within like half a second, Denver inbounded it. They immediately fouled. Now, obviously, you're just hoping they missed the free throw, but Denver didn't miss any free throws down the stretch. And yeah, OKC, I mean, you're just banking on obviously Denver had to intentionally foul. So they started doing it with like 14, like 13 seconds left, something like that. And, you're just banking on your guys making free throws. Um, and again, still a pretty young team. So maybe some nerves are getting in there. Obviously, I think they were perfect from the line until Chet took the last two, like in the last like 14 seconds, the intentional foul sequence. And yeah, Chet missed both of them, and then yeah, Aaron Gordon hit a three. As soon as he shot that, I'm like, why? But it went in. I saw a clip of the Nuggets color commentators when Westbrook was driving. They were like screaming, like oh my God, no, 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 and then he kicked it out. Um, and then yeah, that's a tough loss for the Thunder. I don't think it's going to change the result of the series. I had the Clippers winning first of all against the Nuggets. I had the Thunder in six. If I had known Denver was going to beat the Clippers, I probably would have said Thunder in five. But I think Denver's at least going to win one more game, so I'll say Thunder in six still. But yeah, that's just a brutal end of game sequence. But OKC is really good at adjusting from their mistakes, so I'm sure they'll fix that at the end. And Denver actually when it they the first time they intentionally fouled, I kind of understood it because Denver just burned their last time out. So obviously the play they just drew up to tie it is completely blown up. And then when they had to inbound it again, they had to go full court. So that takes a few seconds off the clock. So I'm like, all right, I sort of understand it now, but obviously now in hindsight, it's easy to second guess it. But I think the Thunder will be fine.
I also want to say one more thing, right? Now, 117 to 114, I think here's another thing about the coaching. The player personnel for the Nuggets. Okay, they need a big shot, right? And who would you consider on that starting lineup to be taking the last shot, right? There's Jokic, there's Jamal Murray, right? I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to play games, you want to go Michael Porter Jr., so be it. I completely disagree, but whatever. I think it's either Jamal Murray or Nikola Jokic, right? Um, Jamal Murray does a great job of, creating his own shot when he wants to off a screen and stuff. But I think we matched up pretty well from the 3-point line if we wanted to prohibit them from getting to that like 3-point mark, right? So, like the player personnel that they had on the field or the field, the court, I think that we matched up well against them. We had, I think we had Lou Dort out there, J Dub, we had Shea out there. Like we have guys who can guard that 3-point line. And got on the line last shot. I wouldn't mind seeing a force from a Jokic or from a Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray went 3 for 6 from three this game. Of course, when it comes down to a clutch situation, you don't really know how it's going to happen and what's going to happen with that. But Braun was 1 for 4 from three this entire game. Um, what was it? Jamal Murray was 2 for 7. Aaron Gordon was actually uh, 3 for 6, which is pretty interesting. Michael Porter Jr. 0 for 3, and Jokic 2 for 6. So, I mean, these guys, like, it's not like they're a premier 3-point shooting team all the time. Like, they have like their moments where like they're inconsistent and they're good, and it's like here and there. But in that game, we did a really good job of closing out on them. And I think I would have rather just seen them hoist up a three in a set situation, not on a fast break when he's wide open from the top of the elbow. So, I mean, not a fan of it. But like you said, we're a young team, but and I'm so done with the young team talk. It's so it's so like frustrating because we can win this year. I feel like we have such a good chance to win this year that games like this, it's just so demoralizing because now we just have to see how the rest of the series plays out. Now we have to, go back to Denver if we want to play another game or, go back and forth, and the travel can really catch up. So,
Yeah.
um, so I'm gonna say that it's a disappointing loss. I think it's something we could learn from and move on and learn from it. So, the coach has got to be better.
Yeah. And obviously you have the travel aspect, and then obviously you have the actual playing aspect. Especially, it seems like the common theme in the playoffs this year, the refs are letting a lot go. Very evident in a lot of series, but most notably, I think that Pistons Knicks series, I mean, Cat was getting like mauled in the paint, it felt like, and they just let everything go, it felt like. And I mean, my team, Celtics, I mean, we just had it happen last night. We know a thing or two about I know how do I phrase this? Coming in overconfident, just taking our foot off the gas, just
Making
kind
things
of
hard.
assuming we're gonna win, and we blow the game, and then we have to obviously play another game, and it catches up with us. It's happened in the past, like the bubble, game 3 against the Raptors. We're on the verge of going up 3-0. Then Anunoby hits the shot with point 0.7. That went to 7, and then the Heat series, Tatum talked about they were gassed. I mean, I have to believe we're up 3-0. Maybe they win one more, but then we would have probably won in 5. That's just one example. Like our finals run, we went 7 games, both the semis and against the Heat. There were multiple games we should have won. Game 5 at home against the Bucks. Game 6 against the Heat. So extra games catch up. I think the Thunder will be fine. I don't think they lost because they came in like overconfident or anything like that. Just a tough loss at the end of the game there. But extra games add up is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I guess move on to my team here. So yeah, All right, so let me just preface by saying I still have zero concern whatsoever. Everyone's going to overreact. Obviously, that's what happens game ones a lot of the time. Everyone's going to overreact, think we're done. I will. I'm going to talk about Joe Mazzulla in a minute here, but I will say one thing about Joe Mazzulla. It seems like if a bad loss happens, in like not necessarily a blowout loss, like a bad like gut wrenching loss, like the one we had last night happens, the following game, it seems like we don't let it affect us in a negative way. Like we're not coming out like, oh, we had it, we could be up 2-0. It seems like we come out with a fresh state of mind. So I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow when we play game two. Uh, we lost simply because we just refused to take twos. I saw a stat that in the third quarter, 20 or 19 of our 20 shots were 3-pointers. And I'm pretty sure if I remember right, the 1 2-pointer was because Horford got a like a fast break on a long rebound, and he was uncontested, just got a free dunk. Besides that, that's the only 2-point attempt we had was a pretty much a bunny for 2 free points. And I mean, this is obviously what we do under Joe Mazzulla. We just jack up 3-pointers. Most of the time it works. We obviously lead the league in attempts, makes. We're usually fairly efficient. I think I want to say your team actually like statistically is the most efficient shooting the three ball this year. But yeah, we're usually pretty efficient under Joe Mazzulla with the three ball. If we blow a lead, not necessarily lose the game, but like the team significantly cuts into the lead, we normally, most of the time, still stay fairly aggressive, going for two, mix it up at least a little bit, and we normally end up going on a run to close the game out, get the win. But I've never seen anything like I did last night where we just absolutely refuse to like attempt a two. It's like we forgot that 2-pointers are allowed. Like the second we're getting a like a half decent like bad shot, we're immediately launching a three. Like Holiday got a board, immediately launched threes in like a split second. And I actually think Holiday had one of the better games for our starters. But I mean, the fourth quarter, Tatum is Brunson, who he has a significant height advantage on him. He just takes step back contested threes. That's been a knock on Tatum his entire career, how he doesn't just consistently drive to the paint, especially when you have Brunson, significant height advantage. And Brunson was in foul trouble early. So if you get him to like 4 or 5 fouls, he's going to have to start to play passive so he doesn't get fouled out. Same thing with Cat was in foul trouble. I think even Anunoby had like 3 fouls too early. We just refuse to take twos, refuse to stay aggressive. And then Jaylen Brown even talked about it in the post game presser. He said that we just settled. Once we got up 20, we just played ISO 3 ball. We just got away from what was working. We had a very balanced attack. I think we had like only 2, 3 attempts, more than like two. Jesus, how do I phrase this? We had like 2 more 3-point attempts than like 2-point attempts in the first half. That was a tongue twister. And then the second half, obviously, the 3-point attempts were just skyrocketed compared to the 2-point attempts. And yeah, we didn't deserve to win the game. I give the Knicks credit. Obviously, energy wise, they turned it up another notch. Defensively, they locked in, but we significantly helped them by just settling, just playing stupid basketball. And I have zero concern whatsoever. I think we're going to clean that up, realize that we blew it by just settling too much, and I think we'll be perfectly fine. I still think we're the far better team. I still think the Knicks are frauds, the fraud York Knicks. I just think they had a ridiculous run yesterday. And I will say, even though we missed, here's something positive I'm looking at as a Celtics fan. We missed 45 threes, an NBA playoff record, and we lost by 3 points. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're not going to be missing 45 3-pointers the next game. And I will say a decent amount of them were open or like contested, but like normally we'd still make those types of shots. And then you can argue the Knicks, I think, missed 15 free throws, but I want to say Mitchell Robinson had like 6. We hack a Shaq or hack a Robinson, Mitchell Robinson. So you can't rely on him like a 30% free throw shooter, something like that, 33%. But if we just make a couple 3-pointers, that negates that argument too. But yeah, we blew the game. I mean, we were even lucky it went to overtime because Brunson, I am shocked that did not go in. I am shocked that did not go in. and just that we get a chance to win the game and we ISO it. Tatum takes a step back contested three. That's all we did is contested threes. But yeah, we blew it. We normally have one game a series. We show up like I was just talking about. Past tendencies, we show up just like the game's won, take our foot off the gas, and we lose. Game two last year against the Heat, first round. Game two against the Cavs last year. Uh, happened multiple games, as I mentioned, during our finals run, 2023, the year before, happened multiple times. But hopefully we got it out of the way. And then Porzingis, I don't mean to keep talking here. This is my last point, I think. Porzingis, friggin', he has a rough series against the Magic. And then I'm like, all right, so he's going to be extra motivated to play good against the Knicks, especially obviously his former team. He always torches the Knicks when we play them. I'm like, he's in line to have a good series. He misses like multiple bunnies, and then he's out sick. I'm like, bro, obviously I'd rather take that than like an injury, and I think they said he's probable to play tomorrow, thank God. But like, bro, and then Hauser got hurt too. Hauser had a really rough season. He airballed a three, then he fouled Anunoby, gave him 3 free throws, then got hurt on the play. So he had a rough sequence. He's had a rough playoffs for the most part. But I still love Hauser. Hopefully he's fine. I think he left in a walking boot. But we're a deep team. Hopefully Hauser's okay, but we're a deep team anyway. But yeah, I'm still sticking with us in five. Maybe a bit bold to predict 4 in a row, 4 wins in a row. Maybe the Knicks get one more, but I'll stick with my original pick in five.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is the entire, I mean, for the first half, it looked easy. I mean, it's funny, even Charles Barkley even made like a crazy statement. Oh, they're going to win in like 4 or 5 in the halftime show. The third quarter, they went on a 31-14 run, is what I heard from the broadcast. They said they went on a 31-14 run in like the third and fourth quarter. And oh my gosh, you guys were getting torched. Um, it was the Jalen Brunson, the New York Knicks show. It really was just a feeling that the Knicks were just coming back, right? And the reason why is because of Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum. And I've always thought Jason Tatum was like one of those premier superstars, and he is he is probably the best player in the NBA when he's on. When he's off, settling, forcing threes, he does it a lot. People don't realize how much he actually does it, but he does it a lot. He's at his best when he drives, draws contact, and kicks out for three. The Celtics, I feel like you guys are built on driving and kicking. You guys brought in Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. I mean, even Drew Holiday can shoot when he feels like it. But like all these guys are built for a 3-point shot that is built off of Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum driving and kicking, right? And you guys have great movement after that, but it's the fact of Jason Tatum doing his step back three off a screen, like he has to stop forcing, and it's so frustrating because like you shouldn't have lost that game. That game should have been a 35-point win. I mean, it really was. It was sad because you guys took your foot off the gas. You started, and it was like ISO ball. And the second that these other players weren't involved, they started forcing. Like you said, Drew Holiday. Um, I mean, he wasn't. I mean, when you see your star players not succeeding, you try to take matters into your own hands. I mean, even Derek White had a pretty good game last night, but I mean, that's the thing. Like, you guys have the best overall team, even when your star players aren't contributing to what they really should be contributing to. You guys still find a way to get within 3 points of the final score, or even winning sometimes. And Tatum says a lot of crap about, oh, how he's the most disrespected superstar, all this and all that. Like, all right, well then how about you drive? Maybe you should start becoming a little bit more like Shea, everybody says. How about you start driving and drawing some contact? Like, you're 6'8", and like you said, you're against Brunson. Okay, you're against Brunson, who's in foul trouble. You're against Karl Anthony Towns, who's in foul trouble. It's low IQ basketball stuff like that pisses off Celtics fans. And there's a reason why you guys keep losing these kinds of games where sometimes it just doesn't make sense that you guys are losing. It's because you settle for the 3-point shot a lot. And there's a difference between settling for a 3-point shot and creating the 3-point shot. And that creating it falls in the hands of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So I think those two need to step it up game two. I guarantee game two, like you said, you guys always bounce back. I always take Jason Tatum's over the next time. He always sells like a game. I see it all the time. The second he has a poor performance like this, he responds beautifully with a crazy 3-point shot. Then he drives and then he draws contact, gets an and one, gets the Celtic crowd hype. Like game two is a must win, I think, for both of our teams. I mean, if we go down 2-0, both of our teams go down 2-0, and we have to go back to, you have to go to New York and we have to go to Denver. I mean, if they take one of those games, I mean, we're looking at like a big problem. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I think both teams know that, and I think that the Celtics are going to come back very strong, and I have Tatum probably dropping probably 38 to 42 points next game, and I think it's going to be a lot more from the paint. And I think you talked about that on Snapchat. I think you said something about how you think next time there's going to be a huge emphasis on driving and drawing contact or driving and kicking out. Like I'm expecting a big game from Jason Tatum to respond. It's just the problem is he'll have a big game like that, and then he gets so settled with his shot the next game or like the next game. It's inconsistency. And I think that's why he's a little bit of a, like iffy player sometimes. There's times where he's the best player in the NBA, and there's times where he looks like one of the worst in the NBA. It's kind of disappointing and discouraging to see.
Yeah. It- Tatum has been inconsistency has definitely been one of Tatum's flaws. And like you were just talking about, when he's cold, like he can be cold, but when he's red hot, he can be hot. Pause. But nice. The Pacers are making a bit of a game here. They were just getting their asses kicked, but they're going on a bit of a run here. Um, just lost my complete train of thought from that. But yeah, I think game two is going to be an emphasis. Honestly, this reminded me a lot of game two against the Sixers 2 years, or game one against the Sixers 2 years ago. We played them in the semis. They didn't have Embiid, so again, this is when Harden was still on the Sixers, but he was more of a facilitator. He still scored a decent amount, but not like Houston James Harden. And we kind of took our foot off the gas at the end of the game and we lost. Harden scored, I think, 45 points. And it's a Sixer team, even with Embiid, that we were better than by a good margin. We went 3-1 against them in the regular season that year, and we lost game one. We blew game one. Obviously, the Knicks weren't missing anyone last night, but I don't care what anyone says. We are far better than the Knicks, at least in my opinion. Swept them during the regular season. We're up 20, and we blew the game. So I think again we'll be perfectly fine. Get this message off my screen here. I think we'll be fine. I was going to say something now, then just talking about the Pacers just threw my complete train of thought off, but that's okay. Um, so yeah, I posted a what like not a 10-minute rant on Snapchat. I was so pissed off after that game. I hate losing, and especially games like that where we just blow and like significantly help our opponent win the game. But yeah, we were tied 1-1 going to Miami last year, and we won the next three, won the series. We were tied 1-1 going to Cleveland last year, and we won the series. So I'm not too concerned. And for the Knicks, both the wins the Pistons got were in New York, and we played better on the road for whatever reason this season. So I'm still not too concerned. Obviously, if we go down 2-0, I'm going to be a bit concerned, but I feel strongly that we'll win the game tomorrow. But yeah,
Yeah,
both their
and I
teams,
guarantee.
teams. Go ahead, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and that's the thing is I guarantee it's very frustrating to a team that, yeah, you see a team that's so much better than their opponent. Like I mean the Knicks really, I mean, they're playing crazy minutes. I mean, I don't know if you heard, but Michael Bridges was at like 50 minutes last night.
Yeah,
I mean, 51 minutes. I mean, that's the thing is like they're gonna start, dying off pretty soon when it comes to like minutes played. I mean, it's scary. I mean, you can't have a huge run in the playoffs playing that many minutes, but I mean, in the early games, like these these early games, I mean, they won in 5 against the Pistons. Um, they won in, or was it 6 or was it 5?
Six.
6.
It should have been seven. The Pistons should have won game six.
Yeah, that's right. It was 6. So they won in 6 against the Pistons. Against you guys, they came out and won game 1, right? That right there should flip a switch, and I have no doubt that you guys are going to mollywop them in the game 2. I mean, I have no doubt about that. So I think everybody knows you guys are more talented. Everybody knows you guys are definitely the favorites in the East, and I think you guys automatically go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think you have a strong chance of winning it after we see the Pacers and the Cavs battle it out
Yeah.
for 6 or 7 games. I mean, who knows how many games that's going to go to. So I think coming off of maybe a relatively quicker series, um, I think the Pacers and the Cavs are going to battle it out with. So that'll be like more of like the harder series to watch to see what happens.
I remember my talking point. Another thing, if we keep trying for two and the Knicks get in foul trouble like they did last night, especially early, Tibbs obviously refuses to play his bench. He's going to have to play his bench. And Cat's replacement, Mitchell Robinson, obviously isn't a shooter, and we intentionally foul him to get him to the free throw line. If we get Porzingis back, Robinson's going to have to play perimeter, and that's going to open up the paint significantly. And then they're going to have to double. They're going to have to send someone to help, and that should open up an open three. So, again, just trying to get the Knicks in foul trouble, that could go a long way, too, especially because they're very thin with the rotation Tibbs plays.
Yeah, and it's funny too. I think that's another thing that we saw yesterday in the first half. The Celtics fouled Mitchell Robinson the second that he came into the game. I mean, the second he came into the game, he was missing every shot, being unreliable for the Knicks. And you guys just it was basically hack a Robinson, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was. So I mean, that's another good strategy to limit minutes for players that are good on that team. I mean, if you're hacking guys for late game situations like that, you put Mitchell Robinson on the line in Boston at a crucial point in the game. I mean, that's such a huge advantage for the coach, and I think it's a very underrated move by Joe Mazzulla that a lot of people don't think about. I'll give credit to Joe Mazzulla for that, but I mean, for other reasons, I mean, he should really evaluate other things. But that's still a really good. I'll give him a big bonus on that. I think that's a really smart decision to just put Mitchell Robinson on the line, see what he does. And Tibbs took him out right after that. I mean, he fouled right after that and got off the court. So it's interesting to see, if you take the Knicks into deep waters, we'll see how it all shapes out.
Yeah. I will say I do kind of feel bad for Mitchell Robinson because the Pistons did it too. They intentionally fouled him. They hack a Robinson, and I feel bad because I don't know Mitchell Robinson like personally or anything, but he seems like a really nice guy from like the interviews and stuff I've seen from him. And they intentionally foul, and he obviously knows he's not a good free throw shooter, and you can just tell like he's saying, "Oh shit, here we go again," and he misses it. That's just gonna be so demoralizing. He just must feel he's letting his team down. I do feel kind of bad, but it's like at the same time, you're an NBA player and you struggle that significantly from the free throw line. Like, I guess like it was the same way as Shaq, but obviously Shaq was far better than Mitchell Robinson. No disrespect to Mitchell Robinson, but yeah, I do feel bad for him. But I mean, and that's another debate is it like a cheap strategy to do so? But it's like obviously if it's my team getting hack a shot, I'd probably feel different. But I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, you put the guys in there who are the best players in the world, and we're talking about, is it bad that we're giving them free shots at the foul line?
Yeah.
Let's be for real here. Shea gets to the foul line and everybody criticizes him. So I mean, you can't win. So I don't care if it's a cheap strategy or not. I think it's the right strategy, and I would like to continue to see them to do that for sure.
Yeah.
Continue to hack a Robinson, so to say.
Yep. And speaking of free throw merchants, Brunson, we actually did a decent job on him for the most part. I think not falling for like his flops and his foul baiting. There was a clip that came out of one of the assistants was on Tatum, and Tatum gave him like this slightest shove, and he just like completely flopped to like mimic how Brunson's gonna play. And for the most part, he did a good job. It was when the Knicks were on a run is when Holiday was on him. So like the guy that's like least likely to fall for like his foul baiting. And he like completely clamped him, and then he got like a cheap foul. He jumped in. I'm like, of course. The one time he friggin' falls for it is when they're on their run. We're gonna need a big stop. Um, yeah. Um, do you want to end this one here and we can boot up another one so we don't get booted out?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure.
All right, sweet.